Hey, Modern Commerce, welcome back. You're here again with Casey, and I've got John with me as always. Today we've got another interview for you. We're going to continue on with our How to Build a Brand series we've been doing. We've got another great one lined up today. I'll let John do the intro there, but first I got to find out, John, how you doing, dude? I noticed you're in the white shirt gang with me today.
Yes, we are the white shirt crew. It's like a D2C. You got to get jumped in. It's a whole thing. There's an initiation and everything. But we're excited for the guest we have today. Today we have Maddy Sukoru, founder and CEO of Groupshop. Excited to just really talk some overlying e-commerce trends that we're seeing. But before we get into that and get into kind of what's working well for brands right now, what's not working well for brands right now, Maddy, give us a little bit of background on yourself and on Groupshop.
Yeah, man, we'll do. But before we get started, I want to find out why I didn't get the memo. I showed up with a
I
black
know
shirt.
we
Like,
should. Yeah.
guys,
You know, what's funny is whenever we have guys on the podcast, it's almost always like white t-shirt. We're very basic. We're very basic beings. It's like white t-shirts, black t-shirts. That's
that's it.
that's where we
Yeah, we
live.
need to mix it up a bit. But now, happy to be here. John, Casey, it's a pleasure. I'm big fans. So just to give you a background on myself, I'm Maddy Sukoru, founder of Groupshop.com. If you want to find us, if you're interested in learning more about what we do, you can visit that. If not, you can listen to me talk about it. And what Groupshop is essentially a post-purchase social shopping platform that enables brands to turn their customers into growth partners. And I can touch a little bit about what that means moving forward, but I don't want to give up too much too early.
Yeah, for sure. So really what we're talking about here is referral marketing. And I mean, you're certainly not the first to kind of attack this idea of like, how do I get people to talk about me, right? Like the best traffic that you get and the best customers that you get are word of mouth, right? And a lot of people, certain business, not e-commerce, but like, some businesses will be like, we don't advertise at all. It's all word of mouth. But it like the tough thing about doing that when you're selling digitally is like, how do I actually make that something dependable, processized and scalable? So I guess that's the first question I have about this kind of like idea of referral marketing, word of mouth marketing. Like, can it ever truly be like that dependable and scalable and still be genuine? Because I think that's where a lot of things miss, that try to, tackle this issue of referral marketing and word of mouth marketing, is that it just becomes disingenuous. People who have these referral programs, oftentimes it's like, they're really pushing people to try and tell their friends about you, but like they don't want to or whatever.
Yeah, no, John, that's a great point. And that's something that we spend a lot of time thinking through, right? Because in one side, you have the transactional aspect of it. And then on the other side, you have the social or like empathetic side of it, right? Where, you know, one side, you're like, you don't want to seem like you're gaining from your friends doing something.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be kind of, like something that you want to do out of the goodness of your heart, as opposed to like, hey, I'm going to get paid if I do this. Like, nobody wants that, right? But at the other side of it too is like, we all do it, right? It's something that we're all referring products and things to our friends. And so if you really roll it back and think through it, like some of the biggest businesses in the world currently were built on the back of like word of mouth, referral, social, marketing, right? If you look at like Uber, Airbnb, and like, they all have these things called network effects where, I try it. It's so awesome. It works so well. And then since they have me within the system, they're now able to get me to like spam my whole contact book and get people to join those apps, right? And I believe
Mm-hmm.
that's something that's missing within e-commerce, right? Is how do we, as a brand, how do you get your customers to really talk and engage with their community? Your customers are already doing it, but then how do you attribute it? How do you
Yeah.
productize it? And that's kind of some of the things we touch on, right? And it's kind of finding the balance between like, transactional and the social aspect and the social element, right? Between giving your customers the incentive to make them want to go do it, and then also rewarding their friends for shopping and rewarding your customers for taking that action of sharing, right? And then at the back end of that is making it attributional, where now as a brand, you can know which of your customers are your top uh, biggest fans, biggest referrers, things of that
Yeah.
nature. Because most brands, if you think about what an influencer is, like we're all influencers, right? There's always someone within our friend group, within our community, within our network that we have influence over. And so, but as each of your customer has some kind of influence, but oftentimes the brands are looking externally to find out who those influencers are. They're going on TikTok, they're going on Instagram, but oftentimes the best influencers are your actual customers, people who've already converted on that ad, who love the product and who are already talking about it. So now give them a tool to go out there and really take that to scale. And that's kind of what Groupshop is. And I can touch onto how we do that as we move forward.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I think the main thing is like that comes to mind for me is like, is it, like, is it, does it work a little bit better in certain industries? Like, who really should be thinking about like y- the effort put into developing some kind of like referral program, and who like how much resource should be put into it? Like, should there be a whole community manager always dedicated to, growing like kind of the community around the brand, and growing that sort of like referral network, or is it something that's like, it's not really for every brand? I guess that's kind of my main question, is that like, where does this sit in terms of like an e-commerce brand's priorities? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I will say this. If you're a brand and you sell products that amazing products that people love, then this is something you should prioritize. If you're a brand just getting by selling basic, products, maybe drop shipped or whatever the case may be, low quality, then maybe it's something you want to focus more on, like, pushing out the digital ads and, like, things of that nature. And so I only talk about the brands who are in it because they're making products that people love. And here's why that's important.
Yeah, I
People don't
got you.
share the things they like. People share the things they love, and it's just a fact about life, right?
Right.
And if you have people, if you know that you make a product that people love, and people are sharing it, then that's something you should be prioritized, because word of mouth and organic marketing is like a ghost, right? We all know it's there, we all know it exists, but we don't know how to leverage it. We don't know how to scale it, and most
Yeah.
importantly, we don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I think about it. It's just, if you're a brand that's selling great products, then yeah, like why wouldn't you prioritize this? This is low hanging fruit for you.
Right. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, get into that. How is it that you do attribute it? How is it that you do like make it natural? Because I know for me, and I'm not like, and this is kind of what I've always wondered is like, I think that the way that most referral programs are executed is oftentimes like, hey, give your customers some kind of incentive to share it with their friends, right? And so then you're like, hey, guess what? Thanks for shopping with us. Here's an incentive to share it with your friends and stuff like that. And it's great, but like really the way that that referral comes up, you know what I mean? When like a product really genuinely gets referred is like, at least for me, and maybe I'm not the kind of person who's like always talking to my friends about like, what do you buy? I want to buy what you buy. But like, the way it typically comes up is like, I don't know, somebody has like a pair of basketball shoes and that I was like, oh yeah, I was thinking about getting those. Like, do you like those ones? Yeah. This is what I like about them. This is what I don't like about them. Like, they're not like, yo, I'll send you a link. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of what I'm wondering is like, how do you create that like world where it can be attributed, scaled, and like actually managed and made into a significant acquisition channel?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily like one answer fits all. I think there are different types of funnels in order to get that end customer to actually share and engage and refer. One aspect of it is like, including a QR code, which this is a feature of Group Shop, including a QR code in the unboxing, right? The moment your customer receives your product is when they're most excited about it, right? They've thought about it, they've waited for it, and now it's finally here, and they get to feel it for the first time and experience it for the first time. That's also when they're most likely to, engage with all your marketing materials that you've delivered to them.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's necessarily like a binary outcome where your customer referred or shared something and then you got a sale. I think you have to look at it as like, top of funnel. You're now empowering that customer if they do wish and they are delighted to the fact, so much so that they do want to tell the world about it. They now have a tool that empowers and enables them to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a good point, right? Because I'm talking about like an offline in-person interaction where it's going to be like, you're never going to capture that, right?
Exactly.
Like not in a genuine way, right?
Yeah.
Not in a genuine way where someone's like, oh yeah, I totally use this. You should check it out. Unless that like individual's like super aggressive about like, yo, I got a link, use my link so I can get a commission or something like that. Like that's just not how
That's
like
not how we
genuine
function.
people function and interact with each other. What you're kind of saying is like, I mean, make it easy for them to talk about it on their socials if they're the kind of person that will post on social. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I'll go in and just tell you how Groupshop works, and in that way you can kind of give me some feedback on it, on just your experience. And so I think I've teased enough. And so what Groupshop does essentially is post-purchase recreate a store for your customer.
Mm-hmm.
So with one click. So you think about it like one-click e-commerce. And so imagine, Casey, you bought that hat. I don't know what brand that is, but it looks really good on you. And let's say post-purchase, you clicked on confirm order, you put in your card details. On the thank you page, you're met with an offer. You pay $50 for it, and we say, hey, you're gonna earn $50 cash back on this hat right now if you share and shop with your friends. And so you click a button, and bam, a store pops up that says, hey, Casey, here's your Groupshop from X brand. Here's a product you bought, as well as other products from the brand. You have two options. You can keep shopping for the next 14 days, and you're going to get, discounts, or you can share with your friends, give them the discounts, and you earn cash back. And you're able to earn 100% cash back based on how many friends come in and join and shop and do those things with you. And after that, you start earning commission on every sale. You now turn into essentially an affiliate marketer.
Mm-hmm.
But what that really does is, as opposed to like a discount code or give 20, get 20, what really does is it empowers that customer to, one, share if they're inclined to, or shop and make multiple purchases.
Mm-hmm.
If they really love your brand. Because not everybody wants to share. Not everybody wants to let their friends know about the products they bought. And that's fair. We can't push that on everyone. However, the goal here is to give each and every customer the option to do so if they do so wish. And so that's essentially what the product does. And that's essentially how we're seeing it work. And I will say this, to your point, John, it works better on female audiences than it does with us dudes. Because for some reason, we just don't like talking about the shit we buy. We don't like talking about the shit we wear. We don't like talking about sports.
Yeah, we like keeping our secrets, right? Like, oh, I'm not telling people I got this.
Where'd you get your white t-shirt? Like, I'd tell you.
My white t-shirt just kills your white t-shirt, John.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think one time I was having like a private, this is like an anecdote to sort of support what you just said, but like I was having like a private conversation with Casey, and we were talking about like ads for like a brand that I think we were working with, honestly. And Casey's like, I just don't see how the ads like are gonna, like this angle is gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how this is gonna work. And I was like, well, I get it. Like, it's kind of like a fear. Like there's like this fear, insecurity that there's something they don't know. Right. And I think, I want to like out the brand, but I think it was something that was like a home test for allergies or something like that. And I was like, there's like this fear that you might have a food allergy that you didn't know about. And one day, at 32 years old, you come across this food allergy and like, have a serious reaction to it. And Casey's like, I would rather die from that than have my dad ever find out that I bought that. Like,
that might be like a thing.
Like, that's dudes. That's dudes. Like, we don't. It's like I don't. Somebody might think I'm a. They might not think
like, and there's nothing wrong with it. We're all entitled to our privacy. But now you have an option to keep buying. If you love that product, you keep buying it, keeping it to yourself at a cheaper price, you know? And
Yeah.
so that's the two purposes that Group Shop actually serves today. Really is, you know, shop and share, or keep shopping for yourself and keep earning better prices on the products you love.
I've got a question here. I
Go ahead,
rarely jump
Tracy.
in and ask. I usually let John lead the interviews here, but
Oh, I'm excited then.
yeah. So at the filming of this, at the time of filming this, we're here at the back end of Q3. This will probably go out in Q4, maybe. And I think it's fair to say we see a boost from the majority of e-commerce brands in Q4 because of all the sales that happen at the end of the year for BFCM and whatnot. How do you see that impact your platform, and especially with that kind of like that word of mouth aspect? You know, you brought up you know, when people first get the thing, that's when they're engaging with it, they're super excited about it, they want to tell people about it. That just sounds like Christmas to me. And like when you get like a bulk of things kind of all at once, like do you just see an explosion like at a certain point in time in the year for you?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, I mean, we're primarily on the Shopify platform. So, you know, when people are shopping these brands that they love, that's when we notice that like sharing activity just goes up and engagement on these group shop stores just start going crazy, because now we're getting a whole new influx of just different types of people. Is across, like, we've created kind of like a network effect, right? Where we're able to tap into like, and what's really cool about our product is that we get into the most coveted space in e-commerce, right? The group chat. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a story ad or placement. It's not a, you know, whatever different type of ad placements there are. The place a brand wants to be is in that group chat,
Yeah.
because that means they're part of an intimate discussion. And so that's kind of where we're seeing a lot of activity happening. And what's really cool about what we do is that oftentimes people will come on there and like, hey, no, this is bullshit. I don't want to buy this. Why'd you refer me to, like, why'd you send this to me? I don't want it. But what's really cool is that, being that it's not just an affiliate link or discount code, it's the actual store, you know, brands are able to input their TikTok pixels and, you know, Google and Facebook pixels on there, so that if they can retarget that customer at cheaper cost somewhere down the line, you know, and kind of work it all the way through. And so, yeah, Q4 is definitely a special time, has a special place in my heart, because, you know,
I mean, I think
I'm sure you guys
everybody here is a big
feel the same.
fans. Yeah. No, and this is interesting because it's sort of the idea of social shopping, which just hasn't really translated digitally. And I think that if COVID taught us anything, it's that, it's that certain things actually just don't translate to
Yeah.
virtual experiences. Like I use the example all the time. Like I learned during COVID that I like shopping for groceries at the grocery store. Like I prefer it. You know what I mean? Like some people might have like, they're like, no, I'm just all about, you know, like virtual grocery shopping now, or delivery. So I'm like, no, I enjoy going there and like buying things, like looking at things, like passing the other things that I didn't have on my list and being like, oh, that looks good. You know, like I like doing that. Right. And I think that, like shopping and social shopping especially is just one of those things that like hasn't translated to digital, and certain kind of VR, AR sort of stuff is sort of made an attempt at it, but like it doesn't really have big adoption, you know, outside of like a fully virtual Web3 world. It kind of seems like it maybe can't make the jump to digital. Like, I guess this is my question to you, like kind of a hypothetical. And I guess, yeah, I'm interested in everybody's take, Casey, yours as well. Can the mall experience be recreated digitally?
Well, I'll start by saying, John, I guess you don't like your bananas green
I
from
do like
Instacart.
my bananas green.
Oh,
Yes.
you do? Yeah.
But I can get them green from the grocery store.
Grocery store directly, you know, but I
Yeah.
like mine yellow, so that's why I like to go to the grocery store as well.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes when I get groceries delivered, the mangoes are like hard, especially fruits. I don't know why. It's like, oh,
They're delivering before they're ripe, so that
yeah, exactly.
because
I'm
it'd be
like,
sucky if they were overripe, you know?
yeah, I'm like, dude, like, you know, you wouldn't deliver this to yourself. Like, come on, man. At least take some time and pick out something nice for me.
We just
But
have some patience, give it a couple
yeah,
days, you know?
yeah, exactly. They're trying to do it so quick. But no, to answer your question, no, I don't think the mall experience can be replicated in digitally, right? We're in this space right now in society where, with the metaverse and people and crypto, and people are trying Web3, people are trying to like recreate the physical world in a digital world. We're humans.
Yeah.
If people if we wanted to be in front of computers all day, like, we'll be doing that. Like there's a reason why, after COVID was over, lockdown's over, everyone's outside going crazy, right? So I don't think the mall experience can be recreated digitally. And I don't think like social commerce is like, something that's like gonna overtake anything else. I just believe in giving people the tools to take the actions needed.
Yeah.
It's a different mentality. What you're talking about, like referring products to people, it's a very, very different mentality than, and not that like, I don't know if any of you, but like, I don't go shopping with my friends. That's not what we do. But I know that that's more common amongst like, certain demographics. Like that's not what you're talking about recreating. It's not the same kind of mentality. Like that's more like of an event, an outing, a social thing. More than it is about shopping, really, right? Like more than it is about getting any product.
I'll break it down even like easier, right? Essentially, what we're doing is we're taking away the customer acquisition cost that a brand would pay to Facebook, Google, name an ad platform, and passing it on to the end consumer and saying, hey, if you take this action, we will reward you with cash. Not store credit, not loyalty points. You're not getting 100 Maddy points that don't mean anything, right? What we're doing essentially, and that's our core insight, is saying, show me the incentive, I'll show you the outcome. If you like money, here's what I'm treating to make it. It might be transactional, sure, but you're already talking about this product. You're already talking about it with your friends. You're already sharing this. You're already doing this action. Now get paid.
I would like some Maddy points. I don't know what they do.
Yeah, even if they don't count for much, I'll take them. I mean, why not?
I'll take some. Casey, what's your take on the social shopping thing or on the virtual? This is like a whole thing we could go down, but like is like a Ready Player One fully virtual world like even a possibility? Really, you know what I mean?
I will say this: like my nephew spends like if you put a tablet in front of him and YouTube and Fortnite and put like a mini fridge with food in there, he's not.
Casey has Casey has a perspective on this that I might not, because he has a son who's like 14, 15.
Yeah.
Tell me, enlighten us.
They are a different breed of human for sure.
Yeah.
But I still do think that you're right. I don't think we can totally recreate the whole like shopping mall atmosphere, or at least we're like miles away still. We're generations away, I think, because I mean, I even think like a single store. Like it's funny you talk about like habits, like even in person at stores. If I go into TJ Maxx with my significant other, we show up and I'm like, I'm just here to get like a shirt, and I know the kind of shirt I want to get. And then she comes out with like 10 items and she wasn't planning on getting anything. But we go to the grocery store and she's like, oh, I've got the list. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll take an extra salami stick. And if I was buying groceries online, like, sure, you can get upsold stuff, but there is nothing like walking past stuff in person. We just be like,
that looks good.
I do want that in my life. Like, especially at least I won't speak for all men, but when I want to eat something, I'm like, I'm gonna take it home. I'm gonna eat the entire salami stick immediately. Like,
no, and in the car. In the car, maybe in the store. I'm gonna give them the wrapper. They're gonna ring.
You know what's so funny? Like I refuse to go to Target with my girlfriend. I refuse to do it because that's gonna be. I want to do for 10 minutes in out. Bada bing. She wants to go in there and explore. To her, it's like Disneyland. And so I definitely get what you're saying.
And apparel is super interesting to me too. And so we're shifting gears here, looking at trends of e-commerce. Apparel is really interesting to me because I'm open to buying apparel online. I've bought some of it online. My wife she's bought some stuff online for our kids, but she has never bought anything online for herself outside. Like there's one influencer who has a brand that sells pajamas and she's bought those, and that's it. And like, okay, the experience of going, like, let's say I need pants, right? And this is like, I don't know if I think this is probably like a very like stereotypical male experience where like once every 5 years I need a pair of pants. Like that's, and like I've got like 3 or 4 total pairs. Like that's it. And then like once every 5 years, I'm like, this pair is not working anymore. Like either I've gained weight or it's got worn out. I need like to replace this pair. Maybe I'll get crazy. Maybe I'll get 2 pairs. I don't know. Things might happen. Like if I go with my wife to find said pair of pants, I will try on 50 to 60 pairs of pants, and then she'll be like, which ones did you like best? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I do not remember. How could I possibly remember that? But she does. Like, she actually remembers, like, oh yeah, like she's splitting them up into 5 different piles, and like, but yeah, like, so there's certain experiences and products, I think, that maybe not, like, some people will buy online, but like a lot of people just still want to buy in
Yeah.
person, which isn't necessarily what we're talking about, but it
Yeah.
definitely bodes for e-commerce. I think that, you know, e-commerce can gain market share, but I don't think it ever gets fully rid of like physical retail outside of like a fully virtual, like Ready Player One type world where nothing exists in the real world. We're all virtual.
I think as marketers, right, and as people in this e-com space, like we've been spoiled by the scale of Facebook, where we think like things are supposed to take up 100% of market share, or it's a flop, right? Like for
Yeah.
what we do with Group Shop, I don't expect Group Shop to make more than 5 to 10% of any brand's revenue at any given time,
Yeah.
right? That's just not what we're built for, right?
Right.
As a marketer, I think like, and this is kind of going on a tangent because I get this often. It's like, like, okay, like, are you able to scale this channel? Are you able to do this to this channel? I was like, no, it's a channel.
Yeah.
You,
Supplemental.
Yeah.
exactly, right? It's like,
Tangents are totally welcome here, by the way. You fit right in on the show. This is what we do here. So.
yeah, I mean, like you're supposed to, this does 5%, that does 25%, over there does 50%. Guess what? We're now at 100, and it's better than Facebook doing 90%. And
Yeah.
ads aren't working. You're like trying to jump off the balcony,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. You're like, I might not be able to pay my mortgage next month. if I don't fix
Exactly, right? And you're not like, Zuckerberg is not the overlord of your life, right? Where you're able to, you can
You got at
actually,
least a little diversification. So let me tell you this: you sit across roughly 500 brands have signed up, are either in beta or on waitlist or whatever. What are you seeing in terms of like overlying trends in e-commerce right now? Let's say 2022.
the one thing which is unique insight that only we have, because we're actually powering a lot of like, the social commerce referral and stuff like that, is that women tend to actually shop and share, whereas men tend to just keep shopping on their own group shops, and
Yeah.
less on the sharing aspect, and just more of, oh wow, this is great, I can just, I get an extra X amount if I make a couple new orders by this date. Okay, cool, I'm gonna do that. And so like it's really, and it touches back to what you were talking about, John, with like, shopping with your wife. It's like shopping habits are different across like genders.
Mm-hmm.
And once you start to understand that, like, different areas and different demographics and different types of people shop differently. And so as a brand, once you understand and really know who your customer is, you're able to kind of like curate your shopping experience around your core customers, right? Someone like John has a different shopping habit than someone like me or someone like you, Casey. And so brands have to really cater to their customers and really try to create experiences that fit their core customer base.
So you have different usage by men and women. Do you have roughly the same adoption rate of men and women though?
That's a great question. I have to dig into the numbers because we do it on a brand per brand basis.
Sure, yeah.
I would say women are definitely more engaged on our platform than men are, but also that is because women shop a lot more than men do.
And I mean, in generalities, they are more social creatures, I feel like.
And
I mean,
yeah, more social.
makes sense to me.
Yeah,
We're open
and
to sharing the products that they buy. Yeah.
exactly. And we recently launched like a new like influencer creative feature where we allow brands to now create these group shops for the influencers, affiliates, and referrals that they work with, which because it's better than a discount code and an affiliate link, is more personal and things like that. And we're seeing that female creators are more inclined to like, use it a lot more than the male creators as well. Like, and so, yeah, like we're seeing a lot of different like, habits with our
Yeah. And I mean, just in terms of like use case here, right? And whether it is group shop or whether it is, and the reason I say this is because I'm not like, whether it's group shop or it's something else, right? Like setting up some kind of referral system program and or rewards program, I think is, like you said, it's a small contributor, right? So everybody's worried about lifetime values right now. What's my customer lifetime value? Why are they worried about it? It's because their acquisition cost is going up, right? So like it used to just be like, what is my average order value? That's what we used to really think about a lot. And now it's like, I mean, we're gonna have to think about the next purchase too to start paying for these customers. If it's a little thing that can lift the lifetime value, if it lifts the lifetime value for 5% of customers, in a 14-day period, or 10% of customers in a 14-day period. I mean, statistically, it might be a small amount, but like, it might be a 2, 3, 4% overall lift in your first 30 days. And that's like, acceleration is huge. And the other thing that's huge is like getting a second purchase, right? So there's the bridge between never purchased and purchased is the widest. And the bridge between purchased once and purchased twice is also pretty wide. Like that's like the next in terms of like, if you want to do 8 figures and climb through 8 figures and do 9 figures, that's the bridge you got to really get a lot of people across. After that, the bridge between second, third, and fourth, all that's almost nothing. It's negligible, right? Like it's the second purchase, right? Getting the customer in and then getting the second purchase. So any kind of really mechanism you can use to drive a second purchase, or to drive some kind of mental, like it's like a psychological hook, right? Like if they've referred, even if they haven't made a second purchase, if they've recommended it to somebody, whether they've made a second purchase or not, it's going to create some cognitive dissonance for them to even not like the product, right? Like when they get the product, they're probably much more likely to like it because they're like, I've already told some other people about this, right? So yeah, I mean, I think things like that, like just little things that'll drive slightly more second purchases, even if it's 5% of revenue, it's more second purchases. And that's the bridge that so many e-commerce brands are having a hard time crossing.
Wow, that was eloquently put. I'm going to chop that up and run as an ad, John. I appreciate you.
That's just
Let's give it a right
extrapolating on the lesson John learned from The Office. Like, is it more expensive to like, sell somebody something who's already bought, or sell something to somebody new?
Exactly, right. And I think like,
onto it.
Yeah, like it really costs you as a operator nothing, right? And it's a little win, right? And you stack up the little wins, you get one big win. And that's just how I think about it, right? It's like,
yep.
Go ahead.
The overlying trend I've seen in our Building a Brand series, where we've been interviewing brand founders, is like there's usually some kind of moat or some kind of like key to success. Aside from that, it's success by 1,000 pivots. You know what I mean? Yeah. Success by 1,000 optimizations, little wins, things like that.
Exactly, right. And like that's kind of our goal, to empower merchants with a tool that actually works. And I'll say more important than even like setting up a referral loyalty program is setting up the right one, right? Yeah. Like, Groupshop isn't I'm the CEO of the company. I'll be the first to tell everyone. It's not for every brand out there. We would like it to be, but that's just the nature of these things, right? It's not a one shoe fits all. Some brands, you might need to set up the loyalty points and get 100 Maddy points and give out 100 Maddy points out there. Yeah. And your customers, and like, your customers like that. They like to build up those points. We don't do that. We give out cash back, right? And so it's very important that like it goes back to like understanding your customers, knowing your customers, and understanding what makes them tick and what's going to bring them back and keep them engaged. Well, so all these tools, all we can do is build the software. We just hand it off to you as an operator to, manifest it.
Well said. Well, Maddy, it's been great having you on. Really appreciate it. It's a topic we don't talk about a lot, right? Because we really focus on like growth and those growth levers, right? But little retention levers, little small wins, like it's kind of like every little thing you can do. One segment we kind of like to do at the end here is a little bit of a TLDR or a little bit of a, I don't know, what have we called it before? Parting shot. Right. Which I think I came up with parting shot and then I just forgot it, that's
kind of rhymes with like party shot.
Yeah. So whether, whatever it is, Maddy, like we kind of hand it off to the guest usually, parting shot, TLDR or whatever, if there's one takeaway from this episode that you would say, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'll say, and this is a bit, of a side note. I'll say like, it's tough out here, right? Like, doing the things we do, and it's not always going to go up to the right. It's not always going to go as we want it to go. And it's very important that we stay, sane, stay balanced, take a step back. I understand that, like, the stuff you see on Twitter, the stuff you see on LinkedIn is not, it's one off. Like everyone has their ups. We all have our downs. We all have our goods. We all have our bads. But what's more important is to keep battling through it, right? Like, Q4 might not go the way you want, or you might go the way you want. But at the end of the day, there's going to be Q4 next year as well. And so I guess my parting shot is like, keep fighting.
Well said. Love that parting shot. Maddy, thanks so much for being on. It was awesome having you here. Casey, say all the things. Take us out.
All the
Modern
things.
Commerce, thank you for watching. Maddy, thank you for being our guest today. Much appreciated. John, thank you for booking this awesome guest we've got. Guys, if you made it this far into the video, I assume you liked it. So go ahead and show us you liked it by hitting the like button. Also, hit the subscribe button. That will accumulate subscribers on our channel and signal to YouTube the kinds of profiles that they should recommend our videos to. Helps us out a ton. So please do that. And to help yourself, hit the bell icon, and that will send you notifications for whenever we put new videos up on our channel, so you are sure to never miss a beat. And until next time, we will see you.